I thought it was good. I thought I did a good job there. Welcome to The 15th Floor, a Radiohead reaction podcast where a Gen X father tries to convince his Gen Z son that Radiohead is the greatest band of all time by introducing him to Radiohead music one song at a time. You'll hear him react to that song for the first time, and I'll get to explain why I think it shows that Radiohead is so good and unskippable. We did make an announcement that we'll be doing more viewer requests. We also made an announcement that we are planning a mailbag episode. We do have a couple questions already submitted for that. I don't know how much interest that's really generating, so we don't have to do one if no one cares. Every podcast I've ever listened to eventually does a mailbag episode, so... but I think they really just care about our opinions and not so much about us, which is fine. It's absolutely fine. That's why you're here. Last reaction we did was Motion Picture Soundtrack. What a great song. And you gave it a 5 because you don't know music.
True.
Don't take it as an insult. You'll learn. You'll learn, baby. You'll learn. At that time, I said we were going to go to a B-side. Radiohead B-sides, there are many of them. And because there are many of them, fans attach themselves to various ones, interestingly to me. Because the ones that I love, other people don't always love. And the ones that other people love, I don't always get behind as well as they do, I think. So it's always interesting. But the one that's kind of been requested, not the most, but a lot lately, or people have been requesting it the loudest, is Punchdrunk Lovesick Singalong off of the EP or the single, My Iron Lung. And I have it right here. No One Cares. This is a beauty. Got some great stuff on it. You get your Trickster. You get your Lewis Mistreated. These are all ones we'll get to, of course. You get your Lozenge of Love, and You Never Wash Up After Yourself. That's a classic. But today, it's Punchdrunk Lovesick Singalong. Obviously, it's a My Iron Lung single, so it's from the Bends. This song, however, was written after Pablo Honey and for the Bends, and didn't make it onto the album, of course. It's also a song that they don't play very often. It's very there are very few live recordings of it. But I think it's got a reasonable fan base. Put yourself into the Pablo Honey, the Bends mindset, which you do pretty well with. You like Pablo Honey and the Bends. These are melody-heavy rock songs, and this one is pretty peak for that exact time. So in quickly reviewing your scores, we see that this kind of is the sweet zone for you. This song should be right in the zone. You've given a lot of similar songs or the similar era high praise for a first-time listen from a Gen Zer. So some names for people that suggested Punchdrunk Lovesick Singalong. If I get lazy and start calling it Punchdrunk as we go on, you know what I'm talking about. Windy Dust, Tongo Studio, Guy Farting, Simden658, and Mark Andrzejak. A couple names we know real well on there. And I think it's Guy Farting who has been most vocal about it from the orifice we want him to be vocal out of. This is a beaut, so let's go ahead and listen to it, see how you feel about it. From the My Iron Lung single EP, this is Punchdrunk Lovesick Singalong.
I didn't feel pain, 'cause no one can touch me now.
Just one quick note. It takes the one of the type of a structure of a song that I like, which is like a nice calm verse, and then the chorus is uplifting, like exciting, but it's not like completely different. The uplifting chorus still matches the calm verse.
It's not 90s quiet verse, loud chorus. It's not a Pixies song. It builds a certain type of very minor keyed verse, and then without being overbearing or departing from that, it goes into a major chord chorus. I really love the effects they choose to use. Just simple 90s classic pedals. Probably a delay, maybe a phaser or a phasal. Nah, it's not a phasal vibe. It doesn't have the sound, but something like that. But this is a mastery of environments for Radiohead, and they continue to master it. This song gets you prepared for OK Computer, where they really figure out how to put you in an environment and make you explore the environment without telling you what's there. I hear a bit of Subterranean for those OK Computer fans in this song.
So I think the way that they did between the last chorus and the outro, the lyrics from the outro there, how they, again, exciting them to a nice calming area, but it still matches the theme of the song. I think they almost did that great, but I think it would have been better if you get rid of one of the guitars, the one that doesn't sound as the one with the pedal that you said,
the one that has that unique sound that almost sounds like a keyboard or something.
One quiet guitar, and then him singing kind of like sends it.
Yeah,
away.
You like that scaled back sound at certain parts of a song. You like a song that begins real scaled back, and you would have liked it to scale back down.
Yeah,
I get that. There's just a couple of bars of not misplaced, but otherwise unheard distortion at the where it really builds up. And so many times in the song, you're building up a crescendo of kind of unsurety, and again, they use minor key to do that, and then break over the crest into a positive major chords, and that brings a feeling of warmth, a feeling of beauty, a feeling of sun soaking. I don't know what you want to call it. I just feel like there's always this build up, not just with the build up to the chorus, but there so many parts in the song, most highlighted by the build up to the chorus, are this breakthrough into a very positive sounding, beautiful sounding, major chords. So, that leads me to the question, is this a sad song or is it a happy song?
I don't know. Knowing Radiohead, it would be a sad song, but
It is a little bit unlike Radiohead to get a lyric like "A beautiful girl can turn your world into dust." I know some lyricists have this. In fact, Amazon has it as "A beautiful girl can turn your world into doubt." But it's dust. You can hear him, right? I mean, you can hear him say dust. That's not a Radiohead sentiment until you match it with the rest of it, which sounds really grim. Talking about firebombing your house, firebombing the house. I didn't feel any pain because no one can touch me. And then the last couplet, I stood in front of her face when the first bullet was shot. That's not happy, is it? But is it in the context? I think they match what they're doing with the lyrics. They're able to match with the with the melody. And I think Tom... I can hear, so as I said before, it sounds like a song that's kind of slogging through different environments, but it at some point drags its feet through every decade of the last 100 years. I mean, I can hear obvious, 90s sounds. I can hear 80s sounds. I can hear 70s sounds. I can hear folk music. I can hear lounge music. I can hear blues. I can hear everything. I can hear Pink Floyd. Thank you. And because of that, this song, because it takes you on that journey, it is a very emotional song to me. I'm probably supposed to wait till after you tell me your score before I say all that stuff.
I had this score in mind, innate.
Okay, good. Yeah.
It reminded me of Creep a little bit.
Okay.
Like, again, the chorus and the verses, how the noise that they bring.
Yeah.
And then it also, kind of like the guitar, too.
And the build-up to each chorus has a very grungy, crunchy guitar. That... And what song exemplifies crunchy guitar more than Creep? This song, as well as any song in early Radiohead, gives us a little bit of a view of where they're going to be, where they don't even know they're going to be 10 years from the time it's released. I think everybody could like a part of this song. You're not going to deny that the vocals are good. You're not going to deny that there's good sounding instrumentation. You're not going to deny that it's emotive. Of course, every time we do one of these videos, I have the kids listen to the song, my two younger children, and they draw pictures based on what they feel or think as they're listening to the song. So my son, he wrote, "That's a girl, be kind." And there's a person, a girl, saying, "Wow, it's so beautiful," talking about this tree on the right. I like pictures like this from him. He doesn't love drawing. He does not love art. That's not his thing. It's a fine message. Don't know if it's what Punchdrunk Lovesick Singalong is about. And then her picture. So on the right, we have the girl. She's very pretty. She's smiling. Look at her. She looks beautiful. And on the left is the guy that says, "No, dude, like her smile is everything." That's nice. Her smile is everything. Beautiful girl can turn your world into dust. And that's a beautiful girl that can turn your world into dust. Thanks for the pictures, kids. Thanks for the art. I've got a comment from Motion Picture Soundtrack. I thought this was a really insightful comment. I appreciate you taking some time and leaving a good comment, as so many of you do. This is from Splurge. He says, "Happy birthday, Jacob." And that's the comment. So he thought a lot about... No, I'm kidding. I don't know what pronouns to use for people who leave messages, So I apologize greatly if I'm getting the wrong pronouns of any kind. I'm just... Splurge does not give me a lot of information. So...
Just say them.
Them, they, yep. I mentioned that no one had suggested Motion Picture Soundtrack, but it's such a gorgeous song. I couldn't believe we didn't have more requests for it. They say, "On the topic of MPS not being suggested, I'm not entirely sure. I really enjoy the song, don't get me wrong, but it's not one I go out of the way to suggest. Weirdly, having had that challenged in the video, my answer would be that it's one that evokes a real intimate and personal air that I almost don't want to share it. The one word that comes from me is reverence, and to that effect, it's something to be found, to be revered, not to be stamped on the common room board and put arrows round to go check it out, because that's almost like the wrong way to be invited to listen to the song. It's one that somebody catches a snippet of drifting from your room or your earphones and asks about it, and you offer to share with them in that moment because it requires the curiosity to be suitably revered." I think I've thought about that a lot more. As soon as we began this podcast, I thought, this isn't really the way you want someone to learn how to love music, because you really love music because you find it in a time in your life when you need it, not because your dad says, listen to this, isn't that great? I'm the youngest of 6 kids. Even though I was born in the 70s, I was immediately immersed in the music of that time. And 80s music to me is the music of my childhood. 90s music is the music of my adolescence. And but we all grew up listening to the Carpenters and Elvis and the New Christy Minstrels and Bob Dylan if we went out on our own, or the Doors if we went out on our own, or Pink Floyd, which I did go out on my own. But I heard it all. If I was introduced to it at the right time in my life, then it became more important for me. Songs like Motion Picture Soundtrack and a number of Radiohead songs I've introduced to Jacob knowing he's not going to get what I want him to get out of it. It's dangerous. But it doesn't mean he doesn't have a chance to come back to them in his life. And he might not ever remember that they were introduced. I mean, he'll remember that we did this podcast, unless you have a major brain injury. But he might have to find a lot of these on his own. Motion Picture Soundtrack is a big one like that. I can't imagine a world where someone would hear that and say, that's probably like a 5. But that's what happened. And that's okay. As a result, I just went to the attorney and cut you out of the will. And that's just enough to, get you thinking a little bit better.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
There's no will. I leave you nothing. I'm introducing them to something that might be life-changing. Even when they're my 8-year-old son, he's really into the Beatles right now. And I love that because it's the first band that he feels like he found on his own. And he absolutely loves the Beatles, and he knows the songs, he knows the lyrics. He's always asking questions about about Paul and Ringo and John, and he's just fascinated by these guys. And he has no idea how actual legendary the Beatles are yet. He just thinks he's found a great band, and I'm trying to take credit for it. My other son loves Alice in Chains, loves Soundgarden. That's my era. I love that connection with him, and I actually like that Jacob has found his own music too. So that's a lot more than I thought I'd say about that comment. But reverence was a great word. This is holy music. We're treading on holy ground here, and I've welcomed you into my temple. Now respect it. If you would like to see a mailbag episode, any question works. We're keeping track of the mailbag. We are going to do more viewer requests. Keep those suggestions coming in. We're keeping track of all of them. Of course, keep Radiohead suggestions coming in. Don't know where we'll go next. Maybe I'll just take the next most requested song and just pull it out, and let's do that. We appreciate all the likes, all the subscribes, all the comments. Continue to leave great comments. We'd love to chat with you on those comments. Continue to love one another. Keep listening to music together. You're now leaving
the 15th floor.